Next up at UFC 316, we have a porn star Quillan Salkilld taking on Yanal Ashmouz. Quillan Salkilld 8-1 in his career. He is 5-0 in his last 5. He is coming off that UFC debut win, taking on Yanal Ashmouz. Yanal Ashmouz is 8-1 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that win over the lunatic Trevor Peek. Quillan Salkilld not only has one of the wildest looks that you could choose to have in 2025, but he is also
mustaches are in, by the way.
Yeah, that mustache with that hair, like this is a porn star. You are looking at a porn star.
You talk to a porn star every Tuesday night. Shouldn't surprise you.
Is that you? Are you You're the masked man? Oh my God. Can I get a discount?
I'll set you up something.
It's been a lot of money.
You've been a big donor.
We have Quillan Salkilld. He's a good striker. He uses kicks pretty well. He manages range. He'll work the body. And as soon as you're comfortable striking with him, he'll go ahead and mix it up. He'll lower his level. He'll take a shot. Overall, he's a well-rounded guy. He can fight at distance because of the length or inside the pocket. He is very hittable, but he is tough enough and manages to continue coming forward no matter what. He can get into an ugly fight, and he will chase finishes instead of settling in. But he is coming off that knockout win over Anshul Jubilee in that UFC debut. He's taking on Yanal Ashmouz. Yanal Ashmouz is a pretty well-rounded guy. He's small for the division, but he does a good job.
Are you saying anal ash mouth? What'd you say?
Well, I see the Salkilld mustache and hair, and I can't get my brain right. I can't dial it in. So I've got filth on the mind. I'll tell you that. If I saw a foot right now, I don't know what would happen. Anyway.
No, well, hold on a second. That's your thing, huh?
You've seen the donations? No, it's not a thing. Just straight testicles, like Corey Sandhagen said that he shared. Did you see Corey Sandhagen's thing? Obviously, he was joking. Did you see that?
How many drinks have you had?
This is my third. But did you see the Corey Sandhagen thing? I'm not making that up.
No.
He said with a 100% dead serious face that he made $2 million off OnlyFans last year, sharing pictures of only his testicles. Not the shaft, nothing, just the nuts. It was a whole thing. But he's got a new PR team, and it's actually working for him, so it was entirely made up. But it was pretty funny. Anyway, Yanal's a pretty well-rounded guy. He'll come forward. He'll get after it. He is a striker first. He'll throw heavy. He'll even work in a spinning attack or two, and then he will transition to wrestling. He's got a good base. He can be heavy on top if he gets a takedown. There's nothing really amazing about this guy, but he does have good power. He is strong. He is durable. He can just grind out some wins. He's coming off that win over Trevor Peek, where it was obvious that A, Trevor Peek absolutely sucks, and B, Yanal can wrestle because he relied on it in that fight. This fight is going to come down entirely, in my opinion, to Quillan's takedown defense. I think on the feet, he's going to be the much better striker, which is going to force Yanal to shoot. And if Yanal gets the shots and he ends up getting the takedowns, he is pretty good and tough and durable on top. As long as Quillan doesn't do some jiu-jitsu nerd bullshit, meaning as long as when Yanal shoots a takedown, if Quillan is stuffing the head and worrying about the actual takedown and not just jumping guillotine or doing some nonsense, he should be good. He should win this fight. But Yanal hits like a freight train. He's not a guy you're going to get out of there very quickly, and he can wrestle. Quillan's the pick. I am not even going to look at these odds at minus 450. What do you think, Jacob?
First of all, Yanal is the better striker, and Quillan is the better grappler. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, grappling and wrestling are not the same thing.
Excuse me, you had your fucking turn.
Okay, you're right. You never interrupt.
Sorry, I forgot it's your birthday.
Yeah, a little bit of class goes along.
Go ahead, Nate. Actually, you know what? I disagree with you. Your chance to rebuttal. Go ahead.
I feel as though wrestling and grappling are two
different
things. Shut up!
You are so. No, I'm sorry. I will not do that again.
Where Quillan is probably the better jiu-jitsu guy, Yanal's the better wrestler. So he can get the fight to the ground. And that's why I said, as long as Quillan doesn't do some jiu-jitsu nerd bullshit. You understand?
And you just based that off of Yanal taking down Trevor Peek.
Yes. And previous opponents as well.
Quillan in his Contender Series fight won with what?
He had a handful of takedowns, which dragged up his average to 8.81 per 15 minutes.
He had 9 takedowns, and he won the fight with his wrestling because he was getting the fuck beat out of him in the striking, which is why I say Yanal is the better striker here. Now, I will say Quillan, incredible kicks, very fast kicks, high kicks, body kicks, leg kicks. The kicks come high, the kicks come fast. And if you're a foot guy, if Yanal's a foot guy, he might eat a foot in the face because the way that Yanal fights, he does fight a little bit hands low. He kind of waits for those counters. He will throw big over the top, and Quillan could sneak one of those big Australian feet into the mouth of Yanal. I've been a Quillan hater. I watched that Contender Series fight, and I was like, holy shit, this guy gets lit up. He was desperate with the wrestling to win that fight, and he toughed it out. He's a tough kid. There's no doubt about that. He got fucking pop, pop, pop against the fence back, pop, 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 and it, he's one of those, yeah, oh, yeah, nice hit, like, I'm at the, you know what I mean? You know those guys?
No.
When they get hit in the face and they're trying to act like it does, like he went, like, oh, it didn't hurt, like stuck his tongue out, Sure. If he's doing that against Yanal, it could be a little bit different. The good thing is for Quillan is Yanal is not like a crazy pressure guy. The guy that he fought in the Contender Series guy was in his fucking face, boxing him for fucking 15 minutes. He needed those takedowns. Yanal is a pull you in to the big shots, pull you in so he can try to shoot those takedowns, which is going to be good for Quillan. The bigger cage, he should have the kicks, he should be the pressure. Whoever is pressing forward in this fight is going to win this fight. So you're going to know in the first minute or two, whoever is controlling the outcome is going to win this fight. So if you see Yanal start backing up like he does, Quillan's going to win this fight. If you see Yanal come in with that pressure that the Contender Series kid had, Quillan might be in fucking trouble because he backs up, he drops his hands, he gets desperate with the wrestling, and he gets fucking lit up when he puts his back against the fence. Now, Quillan, in his last fight, Angelo, yes. I do need to admit, I do need to be honest here. And this is, I'm always straightforward and honest with the people and everything that I do. This one is one of the more tougher, harder things to admit. I had Anshul Jubilee against Quillan. Ooh. And I think if you watch that fight back, I think it was very clear that it was an early stoppage. I think Anshul was really about to take
pop
over.
Up pretty quick. Yeah.
I think he was really about to take over that fight. I'm still not sold on Quillan, although I do believe that this matchup is a pretty good matchup for him. Yanal is kind of a one-hitter quitter. I don't think Yanal is going to be able to get the takedowns on Quillan. Quillan's long on the ground, so even if he does get taken down, I think he can scramble. Quillan might be able to get some takedowns on his own. If there's one thing I know for sure, and I placed a bet, I'll give you a fucking free bet. I don't give a shit. I just placed a bet for fight does not go the distance on this fight. I respect the toughness. Both these guys are tough. Quillan's a tough guy. Yanal's a tough guy. He showed his toughness against Trevor Peek, against Chris Duncan, all that stuff. But this feels like a clash of styles to where somebody is going to get exposed. I think Yanal's going to get exposed or Quillan's going to get exposed. Big cage with the kicks. I think the head kick's there, and Quillan could expose this guy. So instead of picking the Quillan side for minus fucking 400, I'm going to play fight does not go the distance as plus money and see if he can lay in something.
Well, we are heads up again, my friend. I went Yanal Ashmouz inside the distance, decision, no action, because I do think he's tough enough to weather whatever bullshit storm comes his way.
I think Quillan by sub is a interesting play. I think it's like plus 800 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't put much on it because, he's a pretty big dog.
You're not a full fucking retard.
I have small testicles, so I'm a little nervy. I don't really go all in on some of these bets. So not a ton on it, but I did place a little bit. It wasn't much. The odds weren't much worse than his money line. I get a full refund if he doesn't get a finish. So I'll take it. Because Yanal is tough. I don't see Yanal getting finished. I likely get a refund. Oh God. Drank too fast, too soon. $9,400 in DraftKings Fantasy for Quillan, which means you're going to need a finish or a ton of takedowns for him to be worth that money. The way DraftKings Fantasy scoring works is a whole bunch of regular strikes in a strike-only match without knockdowns or a finish. You don't score that well. You get 5 points for a takedown. You get 10 points for a knockdown. You get bonus points for a finish, and everything in between is a half a point. So I do not think this is worth it unless you are full-blown on the Quillan side and you do think he gets a finish. But the reality is Safety Parlay continues to be the beacon of stability. Safety Parlay remains stable because it avoids fights like this. I gave you a plus money safety parlay 2 weeks ago. I gave you a plus money safety parlay last week. It's not my fault. Aaron Blanchfield didn't show up, but that parlay was plus money before Aaron wasn't able to fight because her opponent had a seizure. We actually can't talk shit. A seizure is not her fault. Missing weigh-ins or missing weight. That
titties.
is. I mean, it might be. You got fake tits, you miss weight, then you had a seizure. Something's up.
When you put Angela knows better than anyone. When you put a foreign object inside of your body,
it rejects
especially if it's plastic and if it's not done right, it can be very, very dangerous. I mean, I don't know if you've ever talked about it, but I mean, it's Pride Month, so we should be able to talk about it a little bit in a situation like this. But I mean, Angela spent 17, 18 days in the hospital, something like that.
What is funny is none of that is true. What is funny is obviously Tiff.
None of it's true. Yeah, I just make shit up. That's what I do, and I sit here, Angelo, and I just blatantly lie about you getting a rectal explosion from a foreign object, and you spent 18 days in a hospital because of it. I would make that up during Pride Month.
Yes, you would. Tiffany worked in a hospital for many, many years, and the stories that these nurses have of people with foreign objects stuck in there are actually it's more common than you think. It's pretty.
How about the video or picture of the nurse carrying the bedpan with the biggest
yeah, I've seen that. That is nuts. Was that real? Was that a real picture?
It was fucking real.
Oh, I've seen
now
that.
There's people I've seen TikToks of people putting fake turds they go into restaurants.
Yes.
And it's like this big yam or something. It's fucking, and they put it in the toilet and then they're like, hey, I can't flush. There's something in the toilet. I can't flush it. And then the workers go in there like, they open the door and it's like,
dude, if you watch I have two poop stories. One, I was coaching wrestling and we had a travel team and we were like in Virginia for nationals or something like that. And I guess a couple of the kids were sharing a room. I wasn't in there. I didn't see this. It's just, they told me the story. And they,
I don't know why that was so funny. A couple kids I went in there.
Well, because like I don't want these are high school kids, not like whatever. Anyway,
whoa! Say that again. Hold on, say that again.
These were high school kids.
It's not like go finish what you're about to say.
Like they were these bunch of little kids sharing a room. They were high school kids.
I think you were about to say they were high school kids, not like they were underage. Is what you sounded like you were about to say.
I was saying not like they were on their own, like little kids in their room. They were high school kids that could share a hotel room together. Anyway, where I'm going with this is. One of them clogged the toilet. And instead of like thinking like to call maintenance or whatever, he quite literally wrapped a towel around his hand, which a towel doesn't keep your hand dry, reached into the toilet and was scooping shit out of it.
Hold on a second. Are you telling me that you've never pulled your own shit out of a toilet in a panic because it's so overflowing?
No. But my second story is in the Fight Foods.
That.
In a Fight Foods vlog, like 2 months ago, I had to pull somebody else's shit out of a toilet. We had a bunch of kids over for the hibachi one. It was the John Jones and Stipe Miocic's Fight Food vlog. Go check that. At the end of the vlog, I'm watching the main event. I am still mic'd up watching the main event, recording my reaction. And then the kids come downstairs. The toilet's clogged and there's whatever. So I go upstairs and the toilet is clogged. And there's little broken pieces of plastic cup all inside of a huge turd. So I had to put on gloves and pull the shit out of the toilet. But I was mic'd up the whole time. So you get my like, and then Brian was clever enough to be like, I'm going to take the camera up there too. So it's a pretty funny moment in the vlog.
I worked at a restaurant and somebody said, hey, somebody smeared shit all over the walls. And I had to go clean it up. Literally somebody just took and just smeared it all over. Yeah, it's not really that funny.
People are so fucked up, dude.
Literally, just had to sit in there for the next half hour. Just
That's just so gross, dude. People are fucked. This started with a safety parlay pitch.
A bunch of donations.
I'm getting to them right now. It is the beacon of stability. You can unlock them at WeWantPicks.com. We have a $9.99 from Seth Otto. Angelo, can you explain the difference between a slug fight and a slug fest? We have all forgotten, really need to know. Here's the deal. A slug fight.
This could turn into a slug fight.
It could be. A slug fight is just a sloppy, winging punches, technique out the window mess.
I would argue that Quillan's Contender Series fight was a slug fight. That was back and
when
forth.
He was getting his head was getting snapped back.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's a slug fight. A slug fest does have technique, and they're just getting after it. It's not sloppy. They're not like bummish. It's just two dudes getting after and they know what they're doing. That's the difference. One is sloppy. One is not sloppy. That's the difference.
What's the not sloppy one?
Slug fest. Slug fight is sloppy as fuck. Like two slugs fighting. Just a fucking gross mess. Slug fest. We're here at a festival celebrating the slugs. See? 1999 super fat chat. I've been drinking, dude. Super chat from TTG Matt. I joined We Want Pricks Premium almost a year ago.
We want pricks.
Dude, I'm a mess. I've made a little over 10,000 this year so far. I appreciate you guys. If you haven't joined Premium, you're missing out. I'm thinking about slamming 500 on Marab by decision. That's probably a good bet. We'll get to it. Jacob will disagree, but I don't. Thank you for the $20, and I'm very, very glad that you appreciate Premium membership and it's working out for you. Thank you, TTG